Thank you for the timer, Kindy. I greatly appreciate that. Uh, okay. Oh, I gotta get a different microphone. Okay, now, real quick, these numbers are fairly old, um, but if you look at the total loss, right? Oh, come on. If you look at the total dollar loss, right? So maybe somebody steals your credit, runs up a bill, or costs a bank, credit card company. You're looking at about $2 billion. It's a big business, and things like this have been around for a long time. If any of you guys ever seen the movie Goodfellas, there's a book um, that the movie's based on called Wise Guy, and they go through in that book and talk about how they would steal credit cards in the 50s, right? The master charge cards and stuff like that. So, I mean, this has gone on for a very, very long time. Um, this is a big one now. And that's gone up. Now it's about 10% of identity theft victims are under 20 years old. And really, that's for a couple reasons. One, really don't have any credit, so it's easy to start accounts like fairly risky accounts and run that up. And two, um, your information is fairly accessible. You put stuff out there on different social networks or whatever. You're not as careful with your stuff. People get it. Also, if you look at it in terms of children, right? You can read stories about 3-year-olds getting credit card offers, and people taking out credit cards and names of their kids and stuff like that, or other people's children. A lot of this happens by family members as well. So it's not like a sneaky guy on the computer somewhere. A lot of times it's family members that'll do that. Okay. Definition. Pretty simple. Somebody takes you or your credit or your identity and uses it for their own financial gain or in an effort to defraud a company, right? So when we leave here, Ashley's probably going to take Kyle's name and number and get a credit card and then go buy a car. And then have Kyle. Okay, maybe you don't want to pick Kyle. Maybe he's not the one to choose. But I think we're pretty good on this. Kindy, how's the time? 8? Okay, you going to hold that up for me or not? Just give me is it going to beep? You'll make it beep? Okay. So, a lot of times when you look at this, you think of Social Security numbers or credit card numbers, things like that. If you look at it legally, the definition, if you use somebody else's name in order to fraud or to get some kind of financial gain, that's identity theft. All right. Technically, phone numbers. Like I used to sign my friends up for some pretty stupid things and put their number in there. Identity. I mean, you get prosecuted for that. Okay. These are the big ones. All right. Social Security numbers and your driver's license number because they're unique only to you. Well, that's a good. I'll tell you a little story about that here when we're done. Maybe when the alarm goes off. These two are big ones. Okay. It wasn't that long ago, and maybe you can look on your parents' checks that you'd have to, and you still do. Like if you write a check, they want you to write your driver's license down. People used to print those on their checks, and then a lot of people would take that information. You could run it through different databases. You can get name, address, birth date, whatever you want. Credit card numbers, passwords as well. Identity theft, the big thing. Remember that article we read in here about? I think we read in here about employers wanting Facebook passwords, right? There's laws now at the federal level and at Minnesota that are trying to make that illegal. Jonah. Yeah, that's identity theft, and that's fraudulent. You'd be well, yeah. Even though the person doesn't exist, somebody created that, right? So the person that created it now is then on the hook for it, as long as they can prove it. You know what I mean? I mean that's the essence of what this is, right? So you're talking about, is it a crime to just create a fake identity, and then use it? Absolutely, that's a crime. Can't just do that. Where do you get this stuff? Obviously, in your wallet and your purse. Some of you may not carry purses. A satchel. Either way. So you get your wallet stolen, you have credit cards, driver's license, stuff like that in there. This has been one that has really exploded. Mail and phones. All right? If you look at how you use your smartphones and things like that, and a lot of you guys have them, there's a lot of information in there. I mean, if you buy something, or even let's say you have iTunes, you have an iPhone, you have iTunes. I mean, they can get a lot of information if you're signed into that and look at your account and stuff. It wasn't that long ago, and I think it was around here as well, that people would, you'd mail something, put the flag up on your mailbox, right? People would drive around mid-morning, take stuff out, like if you're paying a bill, you had a check in there, pull it out, open it up, take the check. Now you have their account information, routing numbers, all that stuff. And there's a lot of people won't put stuff in their mailbox anymore. This is kind of cleaned up, but you get a credit card offer or something like that. Your parents do, they kind of tear it up. Okay, it wasn't that well. It was probably until they passed this law, but credit card companies would accept like taped together applications, right? So you're pre-approved. People would take it, tape it together, fill it out, send it in, get a credit card, even though it obviously smells like garbage and was ripped up. This is becoming more and more prevalent as well, where you have somebody in the company that's dishonest and takes that information. Now, it's not just like Walmart giving away credit card information. But, there's the credit reporting bureaus, things like that, places where there's a lot of information stored in big databases given access to that. How many guys have used an ATM in the past couple of weeks? Is there a sign on the one you use that said, make sure you cover when you punch in your PIN? No. There's one where I bank. There's one, and because people would set up cameras, try to get your PIN right, and there was a like a card reader that thieves would place over the place where you insert your card, and so it would read your card as well, and this was bad stuff. You go to a fishy website on the internet, get a tracking cookie and some other stuff on your computer that can kind of filter information that way. We'll talk about credit reports later. Kindy, how am I doing? What? Oh, it's crunch time. Okay. What do they use this stuff for? Come on now. Big one is this: retail purchases. Your liability, though, if you report. Oh, come on. Thanks, Tony. I know, it's killing me. If you report fraudulent use of your card, you're only liable up to the first $50, usually. Sometimes not at all. In odd cases, you get this. Somebody wants a job, they take your identity because maybe you have better credit, or you have a better chance of getting it. I think the things most people think of is taking it and buying stuff, right? Or taking money out of your account or filtering it that way, and those are big crimes. Not so much with the rental stuff, but I mean, when we think of it, really, yeah, at least I do. I think of like the worst case scenarios of just you're losing all your money. You got a $10,000 credit card bill because somebody ran it up and all that stuff. But like I said, a lot of these things are local crime done by family and some close friends. I mean, it's not much to think of somebody throwing your name on a rental application just to make sure they get a house. Maybe they have bad credit, and then all of a sudden, if they don't pay their rent, who's on the hook for it? You are, right? So there's different scenarios like that. So, all right, let's stop.